We're going to break down some seriously powerful ideas from Robert Greene's work on human nature. Think of this as a kind of field guide to the unwritten rules of the game, the deep patterns that make people tick, whether they realize it or not.
Have you ever been in a situation, maybe an argument or just a weird conversation, and you're thinking to yourself, what is happening right now? This makes zero sense. Of course you have. We've all been completely baffled by why people do the things they do, and sometimes why we do the things we do.
Well, what if I told you that behind all that chaos, there's a kind of hidden code? That's what we're going to explore. We're going to see if we can unlock that code and give you a whole new level of clarity in your life, your work, and your relationships.
Okay, section 1. Let's start with the absolute bedrock, the fundamental law that pretty much everything else is built on.
You know this feeling, right? When you're trying to use logic and facts with someone who is just completely swept up in their emotions. It's totally pointless. You might as well be trying to reason with a tornado, because you're speaking a language they just can't hear in that moment.
And that brings us to law number 1, irrationality. Here's the bottom line. We feel first and we think second. We love to tell ourselves a story that we're rational beings, but the truth is our emotions are almost always in the driver's seat. Logic is just the passenger we pick up later to justify the route we were already taking.
And this really shows the split, doesn't it? On one side, you have our self-image. Cool, calm, logical. But on the other side, well, that's what's really going on under the hood a lot of the time. A storm of feelings and gut reactions. We build our whole identity around that first person, while the second one is secretly making most of the calls. Understanding that gap is the first step to seeing things clearly. Oh, come on, we've all been there. It's 2 a.m, and that gadget on your screen seems like the most brilliant, necessary purchase of your entire life. It feels so right. That's emotion hitting add to cart. The logical part of your brain that asks if you really need it, totally asleep at the wheel. That's irrationality in action. All right, so if we accept that people are emotional beings first, the next piece of the puzzle is understanding how they present themselves. And, spoiler alert, it's often a performance. So law number 2 is role playing. Life really is like a giant stage, and we're all constantly changing our invisible costumes depending on the audience. Now, it's really important to get that this isn't necessarily about being fake. It's a fundamental social skill. We're just slipping into the role that feels right for the scene we're in. Just think about a boss talking to their team. They put on the leader costume. They're probably acting tough, direct, all business. The whole vibe is, let's get it done. But then, watch what happens the second their boss walks into the room. It's like a switch flips. The tough persona melts away and suddenly they're way more polite, agreeable, maybe even a little bit nervous. Same person, totally different role. This is the question that'll change how you see everything. The next time someone's behavior seems to shift, ask yourself, what role are they playing? And even more important, why are they playing it? Are they trying to look impressive? Are they trying to hide something? Now you're seeing the game behind the game.
Okay, now for law number 3, defensiveness. And man, this one is quick. The instant you say something that challenges someone's self-image, even a little bit, their shields go up. It's like a reflex. Their tone changes, their body language closes off, and they've completely stopped listening. They are now in full-on ego defense mode.
And this quote gets right to the heart of it. Why are we so defensive? Because on a deep, primal level, being told we're wrong can feel like a threat to our very survival. It's not just a debate about facts. It feels like an attack on our identity. Knowing this is a superpower. It means you can give feedback or disagree without accidentally starting a war.
All right, let's dive into the more subtle stuff. The hidden social currents that are always flowing between people, even when you can't see them.
This brings us to law number 4, envy. Now this is a tricky one, because nobody ever admits to being envious, but it's everywhere. And since it's a secret, it doesn't come out directly. Instead, it leaks. It seeps out in those backhanded compliments, the little sarcastic jokes, or that weird tension you can feel in the air. And this process is almost always the same. First, someone sees another person's success. Second, they feel that secret little pang of envy. Third, since they can't just come out and say it, the feeling leaks out in some passive-aggressive way. And finally, that leakage creates this undeniable awkwardness. Once you see this pattern, you can spot it a mile away.
Law number 5 is covetousness, and it's fascinating. It basically says that we want things because other people want them.
Think about two little kids in a room full of toys. One kid couldn't care less about a specific toy until the other kid picks it up. Suddenly, it becomes the most desirable object in the universe. It was never about the toy. It was about the desire sparked by someone else.
Next up, law number 6 is fickleness. People's attention spans are short, and their loyalties can shift in an instant. One day, they're your biggest fan. The next, they're obsessed at something new. The trick here is to not take it personally. It's not usually a betrayal. It's just human nature chasing novelty. If you expect people to be fickle, you can stay calm and adapt instead of getting whiplash.
And finally, law number 7, aimlessness. Look, the reality is that most people are drifting through life, not steering. They get pushed around by trends, by social pressure, by whatever's happening that day. They lack a strong inner compass. The advantage this gives you is simple. Having a direction, any direction, gives you incredible momentum and power. It's a lot easier to influence a drifter than it is to influence someone who knows where they're going.
So we've looked at the code, we've talked about irrationality, role-playing, all these hidden currents. Now for the most important part of all. Because now you have the keys. You have this new understanding of how people work. The question is, what do you do with it? This knowledge is a tool, a very powerful one. And with that power comes a choice.
And it really comes down to this. You can take this knowledge and go the Sith route, use it to see people's buttons and push them to get what you want, to manipulate and control. Or you can go the Jedi route, use it to understand people more deeply, to navigate conflicts with grace, and to build stronger, more authentic connections. And in the end, that's the real advantage. It's not about being a master manipulator. It's about empathy. It's about clarity. It's about finally being able to see the world and the people in it for what they really are. It's about moving through life with your eyes wide open.